It's Wednesday in America, my friends, and I'm sort of dismayed and sort of encouraged and trying to find a balance between those things. I know in some of these live rambling chats I've done, I've appeared negative. There is a positive. It seems some folks are waking up. Now, part of me says, well, what did you think you were getting when you voted? How did you, were you just ignoring the things that the guy said? Were you thinking it was just all hyperbole? Were you counting on him being not as intelligent as I mean, he's turning out to be smart about getting sinister things done, not so smart about others. But that's not the point. Did you think that he was just all talk, that he wasn't going to be as disruptive as he threatened he would be? Okay. Now, there's still people out there who think that Donald Trump is the best thing since peanut butter sandwiches. And I have a high regard for peanut butter sandwiches. And you still think that. And you think that because he seems to be supported by people who are pro-life and says he's pro-life, that somehow or another he's pro-life and pro-God, and because he says he wants to defend Christianity, which needs no defense, it needs to be lived. That somehow or another he's on our side as followers of Jesus. So you just wipe it off. And because he rushes to non-judgment over lives being taken, and he and his administration declare that one segment of the government, which is on the federal level, ICE, can do no wrong, but and cannot be prosecuted and has immunity for all wrongdoing and must not have done anything wrong because our version of the spin is that they didn't. And no reserve, like, okay, let's look into this and let's find out. Because you want to cite a chapter in Romans that says we're going to obey the ordinances of men. But I am doing a dive on this. I am doing a balanced biblical study and position paper, and I will be out with it in a few days. It's nuanced. There is a clear stream of command for Christians to be good citizens, to follow the laws, but it presupposes legitimate laws. And what if laws conflict? What if state laws conflict with national laws? What if governors and mayors conflict with presidents? There's not a hierarchy there. The federal government is not the boss of the state government. There are laws in place that allow federal precedence over certain issues, but we're going to let it play out. And prayerfully and hopefully it will. But yes, there are people that still think that Donald Trump is the friend of Christianity and that Christianity and conservative political ideology need to be aligned. And they think that Donald Trump is somehow or another conservative. And if he thinks we ought to be out of NATO, we ought to be out of NATO. And if he thinks we ought to invade Greenland, then we ought to invade Greenland. And now I've heard the exact words he said. I'm going mostly on his words. Always have. In almost all of my criticism of Donald Trump, it's been of his words and his deeds, not interpretations of his words and his deeds, not what other people say about him. I always go back to the primary source that is posting volumes and volumes of ridiculous, anti-Christian, anti-love, anti-reason verbiage on the internet in the middle of the night, or the things I hear coming out of his mouth, or the deeds. So I don't know if Donald Trump is against abortion or is cutting back on abortions. There have been Democratic administrations that have seen a reduction in abortion, and there is a good case that you can make for um, whatever laws are passed at the federal level aren't going to affect the number of abortions in this country, and none, not nearly as much as making family planning and birth control available and creating a just and fair, decent environment, providing medical care for those who need it and adequate housing. I think we could pretty much wipe out anyone's perceived need of abortion. But if we want to take a punitive and enforcement approach to everything, I guess we can. And so that's part of the dichotomy. It's not a godly approach versus an ungodly approach on that always, but it's clear to me that many of the decisions are ungodly and the attitudes behind them, the names that people in this administration are calling people who've died. And by the way, do people make decisions that hasten their death? Is it possible that by defying someone with a gun who seems to be an authority, we might hasten our own death? Yeah. Does it mean that the person holding the gun had the right to kill? Hey, I heard something. You say, Tom, you're meandering today. I am. I'm meandering. I am your meandering pastor, commentator who just feels compelled to come on here and chat with you. Someone said, in response to a post of mine on YouTube, because we're powerful and because we have the firepower to be the policemen of the world, we not only had the right, but the responsibility to go to Venezuela and overthrow their president. Are people dancing in the streets? I'm sure some people are dancing in the streets. How can you tell? You point the camera in one direction, you can't see what is on the other side of the camera. I don't know if all the people are dancing in the streets, if everybody's excited about us going down there and the president's stated intentions to occupy the country. Something inside of me says that no matter how bad that guy was or is, they don't want us there any more than if, if, for instance, we had a president that had been convicted of over 30 felonies, that some other country would have the right to come in and arrest him because we didn't put him in jail. I mean, I don't know that that would happen. I don't know if we would ever have such a president as that. He said facetiously, but I would not be in favor of any outsiders coming in and toppling our government any more than I'm in favor of what happened on January 6th. So we got to step back, we got to think, we've got to pray, we've got to work, we've got to resist sometimes, and we've got to comply sometimes. And I'm gonna get you a position paper on this, and it will be biblical. But you might see one verse side by side with another verse and they seem to contradict. And how do you reconcile that? Is it nuance? Is it hermeneutics? Is it prayer? Is it deciding which one you like the best? It's Wednesday in America, no matter what else. You are the highest official in this country. Your title, your job is citizen. And long after everyone else has relinquished their titles and their positions, you'll still be a citizen. And the authority will still rest with you. So you can disagree with me, that's fine, because I'm likely to be wrong on a few things. Very likely. And so are you. But we hammer it out. We try to avoid calling each other names because it's Wednesday. We're sharing the halls together. We're sharing the job and we're discussing the issues. And if I don't lay my part out on the table, well, woe is me. And if you don't, then well, woe is you. We'll never get it worked out. So I love you, and I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll be a little more prepared then. But it's just me. This is just Tom. Take care.